The NFL draft is where college stars become professionals. Every football player that plays youth ball has dreams of making it to the NFL, but there's a long journey that many never reach. Many youth football players never play in high school due to their lack of talent or loss of interest in the sport. The players that do play in high school have the opportunity of possibly playing in college. Many high school stars never play in college and their career ends there. The players that play in college often play D3, NAIA, and D2, but most never make it to D1, whether it be FCS or FBS. The chances of playing D1 are extremely small, either at the FCS or the FBS level. All college players can make it to the NFL, but D1 players are more likely to get there because they're normally the best players and they play the best competition. The players that make it to the D1 level have the opportunity of showcasing their talents to NFL scouts so that they can make it to the next level. The players that make it to the NFL are extremely rare, and today we are celebrating those that make it. I'm Reason, owner of the Reason Sports Network, and ESPN has given me the opportunity to cover the 2021 NFL Draft with the legendary Mason Kiper. Mason Kiper has been the lead NFL draft analyst at ESPN since the year 3000. He's a descendant of the legendary Mel Kiper, who is the godfather of the NFL Draft. He popularized the NFL Draft, and he's the reason why it's broadcasted today. Mason has done a great job over the last 20 years, and I'm excited to work with him for the second consecutive year. We had a great time last year in New York at the 3020 NFL Draft. This year's draft is in sunny Los Angeles at the Greek Theater. I drove to the draft in a Benz, excited to break down these prospects. I watched a lot of these guys over the years. Some of these players I've been watching since high school, some even when they were in middle school. I walked to the stage and got ready to work with Mason. Thank you guys for watching, and let's get ready for the draft. Make sure you like the video. The draft season was long, but we're finally here.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 2021 NFL Draft in Los Angeles, California. The 2021 NFL Draft is now open. The Tennessee Titans are on the clock.
Regardless of who was going to be picking at number one, this is the player that we expected to go number one overall for the past 2 seasons, Vonte Austin. Vonte was the best player in college football for the past 2 seasons. In 2019, he recorded 24 sacks. In 2020, he had 19.5 sacks. When you watch him on film, he just jumps off the tape, which is why everyone's expecting him to go number one overall. But the pick is in, and the commissioner is walking the stage right now. We'll see if Vonte Austin is the number one pick.
With the first pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Tennessee Titans select Vonte Austin, defensive tackle, Texas A&M.
Vonte Austin's walking to the stage right now, ready to greet the commissioner. One of the things that Vonte Austin showed on tape consistently was his speed and his explosiveness. That was verified through the combine. He ran a 4.4 on both of his times. Fastest time by a defensive tackle in combine history, 4.43. Definitely showed up on film. Mason, how do you view Vonte Austin as a prospect?
As the number one player still on the big board, collapsing the pocket, getting that penetration along the interior, up the gut pressure bothers quarterbacks more than anything else. I love the kid. I love the way he exploded into the backfield. He was disruptive. Boy, he's a nightmare, as you say, to try to block for a center guard at the collegiate level.
I completely agree. Absolute nightmare for anybody to block at the collegiate level. And I think the same thing will go on in the NFL. He can beat you in so many different ways. He's so active with his hands, and he's been like that ever since he was at high school at IMG Academy. I watch a lot of high school film. He was by far the best high school defensive tackle I've ever seen. The skills translated immediately for Vonte Austin. He missed his freshman season due to injury, but when he came back, he was so much fun to watch every single week on tape. Definitely the best defensive tackle tape I've ever watched from a college player. Definitely.
It really is. I think he's the best player in this draft. He's number one on the top 25 big board for that reason. When he came back, He was wreaking havoc.
Yeah, when he did come back, he had a lot of expectations as a 5-star recruit, and he definitely exceeded them. The Titans definitely need some difference makers on defense, and I think Vonte Austin can be a difference maker as soon as he stepped foot in the NFL. He grew up a Houston Texans fan, being from Houston, Texas, but he's going to play against their divisional rival, the Tennessee Titans. I wonder if the Vikings will end up going quarterback right here. They do have a decent quarterback. Justin Robertson had a promising rookie season, but he was a 3rd-round pick, so there's no guarantees on his future in Minnesota. I wonder if they're going to go quarterback, maybe defensive end, maybe corner. I don't know. Maybe they trade back out of this pick. We'll find out.
With the 2nd pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Minnesota Vikings select Bobby Fitzpatrick, cornerback, Michigan.
Bobby Fitzpatrick, the star cornerback for the University of Michigan, one of my favorite players to watch last season. According to PFF, he was the number 2 cornerback in the nation, only behind Andrew Rice, who was a freshman phenom. In 2020, Bobby Fitzpatrick locked down every single wide receiver he went up against. Bobby Fitzpatrick has all of the tools that you would want in a star NFL corner. At the line, he's extremely physical, has great hand placement, and almost every single wide receiver gets rerouted when they go up against 24. His best trait is his man coverage ability, but he could play zone as well. He does a great job keeping his eyes on the quarterback and taking the football away. 14 interceptions in his career, 6 pick sixes on top of that. His physicality, his speed, his footwork, and his change of direction ability is what makes him such a great corner in man coverage. And his football acumen and his intellect makes him such a good zone corner. I think he'll fit into any defense in the NFL, and him linking up with Antonio Brown gives the Vikings a great corner duo. Mason, what do you think of Bobby Fitzpatrick?
The more I watch him, the more I love the kid. Some guys have it and some guys don't. He has it. And you don't pick off 14 passes in your career and you don't have 6 career pick sixes. That's touchdowns he created.
He was unbelievable. He was, I thought, going to be the number 1, number 2 pick.
And he lived up to your expectations, Mason. Being the number 2 overall pick as a corner is not an easy thing to do, so congratulations to Bobby Fitzpatrick, and hopefully they can turn that Vikings defense around.
With the 3rd pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers select Casey Patrick, quarterback, Auburn.
Casey Patrick, one of the most polarizing players in this entire draft class. He won the 2021 Heisman Trophy Award, led his team to the SEC Championship and the College Football Playoff. Even though he won the Heisman Trophy, a lot of scouts have some doubt about Casey Patrick. He was surrounded by a lot of talent at Auburn, and at times he was inconsistent with his throwing. But he has a good arm, he can run, he can extend plays. His biggest question is his consistency. Mason, what do you think about Casey Patrick?
So he's the polarizing figure of the quarterbacks because he does flash to be a successful starting quarterback. You see evidence that he certainly could become that type of quarterback. I thought he had a really good year, and I really thought he could be QB1 in that Alabama game. And I don't want to overreact to one game, but you almost have to. I expected a little more. I thought he would compete and would not be overwhelmed.
Yeah, the Bama and Texas A&M games give me the most pause with Casey Patrick. But luckily for him, the Bucs have a promising young receiver in Brett Nugent, and I think that he can help elevate Casey Patrick's play.
With the 4th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, New Orleans Saints select Rich Koch, linebacker, Alabama.
Rich Koch was expected to declare after the 2019 season and be part of the 2020 draft class, but he returned to Alabama for his senior season and he elevated his draft stock. He made splash plays for 4 years straight for the Crimson Tide. In my opinion, he's a do-it-all linebacker that has no holes in his game. You want him to defend the run, he does a great job at that. You want him to cover guys in pass coverage, man or zone, he does that as well. And don't you dare throw it to this young man. Rich Koch will make you pay for it every single time. He has the hands and the ball skills of a wide receiver playing middle linebacker. I think this is a great pick by the New Orleans Saints. Rich Koch can add to their defense. And that's 2 years back-to-back where they spent their first-round draft pick on a defender. Last year was Kenneth London out of Alabama. Now they're pairing them up again in New Orleans. Just watch out what the Saints are doing on defense. I think they're building something down there in New Orleans.
With the 5th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, The Cincinnati Bengals select Tyler Waffle, quarterback, Alabama.
Tyler Waffle might be one of the hardest evaluations in this entire draft. He has all the physical tools you will want in a star quarterback. Big arm, accurate downfield, throws with anticipation. He's an elite runner as well, but he's barely played football at the collegiate level. His first 2 years of college, he sat behind quarterback Nick Sellers as he led the Alabama Crimson Tide. But Tyler Waffle got his opportunity this year after Nick Sellers got hurt, and he dominated in the few games that he played in. His tools just jumped off of the tape, which got a lot of buzz from NFL scouts. They weren't sure about Tyler Waffle and his production, but when he went to the Senior Bowl and dominated against future NFL players, everyone knew that Tyler Waffle would be a top 10 pick. Now, I didn't expect him to go top 5, the 5th overall pick to the Bengals, but what a decision right there for the Bengals. The coaches and the GMs decided that taking a risk and betting on his physical tools is the best option for the franchise. So Tyler Waffle going to the Cincinnati Bengals, playing in the AFC North. I can't wait to see this young man ball out. Polarizing player for sure, but Tyler Waffle has all of the traits to be successful in the NFL. Mason, what do you think of Tyler Waffle, and what do you think is going to happen when he goes to the league?
This is going to be polarizing. This is going to be frustrating. This is going to be difficult, the evaluation process, because you see the talent, you see the ability to run and destroy defenses with his legs, you see the big-time arm strength, but coaching is going to be critical for him. You'd like to see him back for another year. He's coming out. I think the hope is go to a team that can let him sit for a little bit. He is not going to be ready.
Here's where we disagree, Mason. I think he will be ready from day one. I just think that we need to see him play some more football. That's all it is. Because when he played, he was lights out.
With the 6th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the New England Patriots select Harrison Martinnoe, quarterback, Army.
The Patriots are getting a very experienced quarterback out of Martinnoe. He spent his entire 4-year career playing for the Black Knights, and he showed the potential to be the first star NFL quarterback from a service academy since Roger Staubach, which happened a long time ago. Since he played at a service academy, he played in a run-first offense. His passing attempts were limited, but when he did throw the ball, he made some eye-popping throws, game after game, week after week. He has a very good arm, and he's accurate down the field. Not to mention he can shrug off pass rushes because he has a strong lower body. Harrison Martinnoe gives the Patriots a chance to be competitive in the AFC East once again. The Bears desperately need some wide receiver help right now. I'm expecting them to go wide receiver here. Maybe edge rusher, maybe defensive back. I'm not sure. We'll find out right now.
With the 7th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Chicago Bears select Travis Sullivan, defensive back, Oklahoma.
I'm surprised. I definitely thought that the Bears would go wide receiver right here. They need some offensive help. They had their pick of the litter for wide receivers and decided to pass on it and go defensive back. Now, Travis Sullivan is a good player, but I just think that this is a reach right now at this spot. Travis Sullivan has the tools though. Great at defending the run. You put him in the box, he's like having another linebacker out there on the field. He's great at defending the pass, good at man coverage as well as zone coverage. Hopefully he can continue his success in Chicago.
With the 8th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Philadelphia Eagles select Jake Evans, defensive end, Auburn.
After the 2019 season, Jake Evans was expected to be a top 5 pick in the draft after having 10.5 sacks. 30-20 wasn't as productive, only had 3 sacks, but the traits are there. The power, the strength, the ability to rush off of the edge, and I'm just happy that Jake Evans got his chance to go inside of the top 10.
With the 9th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Denver Broncos select Ace King, wide receiver, Oklahoma.
Here you see Ace King in his hometown of DeSoto, Texas, celebrating in his house, realizing that his dream has finally came true. Now, when we talk about Ace King on the football field, he's as good as it gets when it comes to a college wide receiver. All you need to do is cut on the LSU game. Went off for over 200 receiving yards. He was seemingly unstoppable. When you talk about Ace King, you got to talk about the traits first. blazing speed. He's an elite route runner, great after the catch, and he has a great release package. During the 30-21 Combine, Ace King recorded a 4.29 40-yard dash time, which surprised us all. Many people, including myself, thought he would run 4.3, but 4.29 is extremely impressive. Now, when you watch Ace King, he does a great job of selling defenders with his body language when he runs routes, and then he could break tackles as well, especially being a guy that's small. Well, he's 5'11", less than 200 pounds, so that's small considering the NFL wide receivers is coming out nowadays. But if you want to see Ace King at his best, just cut on the LSU game where he just went off, destroyed them, play after play, snap after snap.
With the 10th pick in the 30-21 NFL Draft, the Arizona Cardinals select Trey Frasier, middle linebacker, Ohio State.
Trey Frasier is a Patreon member, and he was one of the best middle linebackers in the entire nation last season. What you're getting out of Frasier is an elite athlete that can play the run and the pass equally. He has a great understanding of concepts and zone coverage. You can send him from the second level as a blitzer. He can get to the quarterback. He can rush the passer off of the edge. And he's great at defending the run. The Cardinals had the #1 pick last year, took a quarterback. Top 10 pick this year, went defense.
With the 11th pick in the 30-21 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns select Marcus Ori, linebacker, Tennessee.
Marcus Ori, probably the best run defender in this entire class. He has elite instincts at the line of scrimmage. He's a film junkie, so he knows exactly what's coming before it actually happens. He needs to work on his pass coverage though. It's surprising how not good of a pass defender he is considering his athleticism.
With the 12th pick in the 30-21 NFL Draft, the Buffalo Bills select Joel Gary, linebacker, Georgia.
Gary ends up being the third linebacker off of the board, and I know a lot of teams in the NFL had him as the second linebacker ahead of Trey Frasier behind Richochet. He's not as athletic as those two guys, but I think he's a better field general than both of those guys, especially Trey Frasier. This young man, Joel Gary, he was the emotional leader of the defense, the quarterback of the defense, made sure Georgia always got into the right plays. The Bills' defense was terrible, even though they have some good players. I think Gary will help give them some structure on defense.
With the 13th pick in the 30-21 NFL Draft, the Miami Dolphins select Lorenzo Fisher, tight end, North Dakota State.
As Lorenzo Fisher walks to the stage, I know this is something that he's extremely proud of. A guy that didn't even play Division I football, committed to North Dakota State coming out of high school, ends up going top 15 in the draft. That's incredibly impressive for Lorenzo. Now, in my opinion, when I watched Lorenzo Fisher on film, he was the second best pass catcher in this entire draft class, right behind Ace King. He's not your typical tight end. He's an elite route runner, he has blazing speed, and he can block as well. Not an elite blocker, but he's damn good enough. When I cut the film on, I thought I was watching a highlight tape, to be honest with you. But I was like, this is the real game, and he's dominating like this. He ran a 4.2 at the Combine, and my colleague Mason Kuiper said that this is the best tight end he's ever seen. Mason, please break down what you saw from Lorenzo Fisher.
Yeah, we went to all the names. I got them all here. A lot of tight ends had high grades, but this is the highest ever for me. In terms of a tight end, he's going to be way up there, and I think he's a difference maker. He's a nightmare, and you can move him around. He can block adequately enough to be an inline guy. If you want to move him in line as tight as a traditional tight end, you can flex him out, slot wide, do everything you want with him. He's phenomenal. And he's going to be an elite tight end, hopefully in the NFL moving forward. He's going to be expected to be.
I completely agree, Mason. He's expected to be an elite tight end in the NFL, and I think he'll live up to the expectations.
With the 14th pick in the 30-21 NFL Draft, the San Francisco 49ers select Jerry Bright, defensive back, LSU.
Jerry Bright is a cornerback that's sticky in coverage. He does a great job consistently of getting his hands on the receiver at the line of scrimmage, and he sticks with him down the field. If you want to see his best game of his college career, then turn on the Mississippi State game from this past season, where he locked down some good wide receivers. LSU plays a lot of man coverage, and Bright wasn't expected to play a lot of zone at LSU, but when he did, he showed out, like in the Mississippi State game. One thing I worry about with Bright is his speed downfield. He ran a high 4.4 at the combine and in his pro day, so that might be a cause of concern for some teams in the NFL, but I think he'll do just fine. The 49ers already had a good defense, so I think he'll fit in perfectly there. Congratulations to Jerry Bright for being drafted to the NFL. The Colts are currently on the clock, and I'm interested in seeing where they're going to go with this pick. They already have a stout defense. I'm assuming they're going to go guard right here, maybe tackle, beef up their offensive line. The pick is in though, and the commissioner is currently walking to the stage.
With the 15th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Indianapolis Colts select Deontay Lions, kick returner, Washington.
Wow, Deontay Lions ends up being the first return specialist to ever go in the first round. And it's not just the first round, he went in the top 15. There were rumors going on throughout the entire offseason that he might go in the first round. I really didn't believe it, but I'm shocked that he didn't even go in the first round. He went in the top 15. But let's talk about the football player Deontay Lions. When you watch him on film, it's obvious to see why he had some type of first round hype. He has blazing speed, runs a 4.2 40. He knows and understands the leverage of blockers, especially in kick and punt return situations. He knows how to set up the blocks, he knows when to make a cut, and he's very good at identifying lanes and creating his own lanes on the football field. Last season, he ended up winning the Jet Award, which is given to college football's best returner, and he definitely deserved it. Had over 1,000 kick return yards and had over 1,000 punt return yards. The Colts offense struggled last season. The defense was elite. This can help flip the field for the defense.
With the 16th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Los Angeles Chargers select Maurice Mosby, wide receiver, Clemson.
I think this is great value getting Maurice Mosby at the 16th pick. Coming into the season, a lot of people expected him to be a top 10 pick in the draft because of his speed and his size, but he didn't really improve much on his route running ability. He gets separation, but the separation normally is from his speed and his athleticism. He still is a very good player though. I think he can have an impact in the league. He just needs to work more on his route running ability and his release package. Plenty of times on film I seen corners jam him at the line of scrimmage, or he just wasn't creative enough. Regardless, I still think he has the talent to be a successful wide receiver in the league. Good job by the Chargers on taking him at 16.
With the 17th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the New York Giants select Dante Reed, guard, Texas A&M.
Dante Reed ends up being the first guard off of the board, and this is exactly where I expected him to go. One of the best guards in the nation for the past couple of years, and he's arguably the best pass protector in this entire draft, regardless of position. He's going to the Big Apple. Giants get a straight up dog.
With the 18th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Green Bay Packers select Michael Lott, quarterback, Florida.
Well, this will be a culture shock. The young man is going from Florida to Green Bay, Wisconsin. Talk about two different worlds. Michael Lott is a very good quarterback, obviously has some physical ability, but I think he needs some more polishing to be able to start in the NFL just yet. I think sitting behind some quarterbacks in Green Bay and having that running game that they have and a good offensive line, I think that could help benefit him in the future. I think this is a good value pick.
With the 19th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Dallas Cowboys select Justin Caldwell, cornerback, Michigan.
Caldwell is the prototypical zone corner that you would want in the NFL. He has elite instincts in zone. Played alongside Bobby Fitzpatrick at Michigan, so his play was often overlooked, but he was definitely a good player throughout his career at Michigan. Like this play right here, he follows the receiver after he leaves his zone and he ends up getting the interception. Also a very smart player. Like on this play, he does a good job of squeezing the receiver to the sideline, giving it a hard throw for the quarterback to make and a hard catch for the receiver to make.
With the 20th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Kansas City Chiefs select Darius Meadows, defensive back, Alabama.
Congratulations to Darius Meadows. Finally is making it to the NFL. His lifelong dream has finally been completed, but the work is just getting started. Meadows over the years showed off his tools consistently at Bama. He has elite speed, great change of direction ability, and elite ball skills. Right here is Tony Dimes, my #1 wide receiver in the 2022 NFL Draft, and he knocked the ball right out of his hands. At the NFL Combine, he turned heads when he ran a 4.37 40-yard dash time. He dropped in the draft because he's an inconsistent player though. Oftentimes gets lost in coverage and he's not physical at all. Look at what Tony Dimes did to him on this play, just ran him over. If he can become more consistent and better in the run game, I can see him being a Pro Bowl corner in the league. The Chiefs defense was already good last season, now they're just bolstering it up. This is where Mason expected Darius Meadows to go. He had it here in his final mock draft.
With the 21st pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Carolina Panthers select Seth McCray, safety, Miami.
Seth McCray, really good in zone coverage. He's a decent run defender and he's decent in man coverage, but I say his bread and butter is zone coverage. His football intellect is off of the charts. He has very good recovery speed for a safety though. Here he is one-on-one with a wide receiver. If the quarterback would have threw it right there, he would have still been in position to make a play on the football.
With the 22nd pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Seattle Seahawks select Jim Brooks, guard, USC.
I think this is a great pickup for the Seattle Seahawks right here. Jim Brooks is a very good guard with great arm length and size. The Seahawks had the #3 overall pick in the 2020 NFL Draft. They ended up getting to the playoffs because of their good offense. Now they give the offense some more help with a nice pass protector from USC.
With the 23rd pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the New York Jets select Blake Evans, guard, Georgia.
The Jets' offensive line hopes to improve by adding this brick wall to their offensive line. He should help shore up the interior.
With the 24th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Mike Robinson, tight end, Texas.
On Mason Kiper's big board, Mike Robinson was the second best tight end in the draft class the entire season and in the draft season. He's not the best run blocker in the world, but he's a great pass catcher. Here he is going up against Marcus Ori, the #11 overall pick, and he absolutely dusted him right here.
With the 25th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Josh Woods, tight end, Oklahoma.
Very impressive. The University of Oklahoma has 2 tight ends going in the first round, 2 years back to back. And we have 2 tight ends going back to back right here, Josh Woods being the second one and Mike Robinson being the first. I think Mike Robinson is a better route runner, but I think Josh Woods is a tad bit more explosive and a little bit better at run blocking. The Jags get an offensive weapon for their quarterback, Kendrick Whitewater.
With the 26th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Los Angeles Rams select Raymond Elbert, guard, LSU.
Throughout Raymond Elbert's college career, he pretty much dominated every defensive tackle he went against except Vonte Austin. And Vonte Austin is someone that's extremely hard to dominate, so I completely understand that. But I think the Rams are getting a good player right here with Raymond Elbert. Can help shore up their offensive line and get some protection to Sean Amory.
With the 27th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Houston Texans select Greg Moore, defensive end, Miami.
The Texans' defense has been terrible for the past couple of seasons. It's the reason why they haven't gone far in the playoffs. Greg Moore can help that in the future.
With the 28th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select Xavier Baller, wide receiver, Nebraska.
Here's Xavier Baller in his hometown of Houston, Texas, and I know that this can be huge for the Detroit Lions offense. The Detroit Lions have been lacking a big-time playmaker at the wide receiver position, and I think Xavier Baller can add to that. He adds speed and big playability to an offense. He often can make your quarterback right. As you can see, this ball was a bit overthrown. Xavier Baller does a great job of diving and making the catch. At the NFL Combine, he turned heads. We all knew that he was fast, but we did not know that he was this fast, running a 4.28 at the NFL Combine. At the Senior Bowl, he showed that he can actually run some good routes. Right here is him lighting up cornerback Darius Meadows. Darius Meadows went to Alabama, got drafted with the 20th overall pick in this draft to the Kansas City Chiefs. Something that you consistently see on his film is the elite footwork from Xavier Baller, like right here. Great dig route, mainly because of his feet. He was able to stop on a dime after running full speed, which gave the cornerback some trouble. The reason why I think he fell in this draft is because his route running definitely needs some work. I think that he should work more on the technical aspect of his route running because he normally just wins off his God-given ability. But congratulations to Xavier Baller.
With the 29th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Baltimore Ravens select Bobby Hill, defensive end, Auburn.
Bobby Hill jumped out on the scene in 2020 because he lined up outside of Jake Evans. Throughout the year, we was watching Jake Evans looking for him to pop off of the screen, but we kept on saying, who is this number 98 guy lighting it up, getting pressure off of the edge? While Bobby Hill isn't as good as his teammate Jake Evans physically, he's very technical and very physical, and he has a high motor. I really like Bobby Hill, and I think he can add to the Ravens defense.
The Atlanta Falcons have traded the 30th pick to the Chicago Bears. With the 30th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Chicago Bears select Ryan Glick, wide receiver, Michigan.
I was wondering when this young man was coming off of the board, and this is a storybook ending. He's going to his hometown team, the young kid from Deerfield, Illinois. Now, he started off his college career at Michigan playing basketball. He was a decent player on the basketball team until he broke his leg and lost his scholarship. Before the 30-20 season, he decided that he was going to play football, a sport that he hadn't played since high school. And he took full advantage of the 30-20 season, leading college football in receiving, and he declared for the 2021 NFL Draft. Now, a lot of people thought that he might be a second or a third round pick, but everything changed at the Combine when he ended up running a 4.45 40-yard dash time. On film, he consistently showed that he ran like a 4.6 or a 4.7, but I think a lot of that had to do with the leg injury that he suffered. Now right here, he drops the ball on this play, but this showed how much of a great route runner Ryan Glick is. He was probably the best route runner in this draft class, best route runner in the nation, and he has incredible body control. He made unbelievable catches on the sideline week after week. He also signed to the Jordan family, and I was able to watch him train and document his progress throughout this entire offseason, training for the NFL Draft. And what I saw from Ryan Glick in the offseason is that he was dedicated to making an impact on the next level. Not just being a wide receiver in the NFL, he wants to be a great player in this league. And if he's faster than what he showed on his college film, I think the Bears got a steal, even at pick 31. Congrats, Ryan. You're going to the team that you grew up rooting for, and you're playing in your hometown. How does it feel that you're going back home to play in front of your friends and your family?
Thank you. And it feels amazing. As a kid, you always dream about playing for your hometown team. I remember running routes with my dad in the backyard wearing a toy Bears helmet when I was little. I guess dreams really do come true.
Now, what do you have to say to the city of Chicago and Bears fans?
To the city of Chicago and Bears fans, we're making the playoffs this year. Bear down.
Oh, okay, the city of Chicago is going to like that. Well, good luck, Ryan, and enjoy this moment.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. And you know I will. I take no days off.
For the Washington Commanders, I think their best choice would be running back right here. They lost Bryce Vitry due to retirement, and I think a good running back right here could help give them the offensive boost that they need.
With the 31st pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Washington Commanders select Donald Taylor, running back, Akron.
Donald Taylor was my #1 running back on the board. He was Mason Kiper's #1 running back on the board. I think he has it all. A lot of people slept on him throughout this season because he played in the MAC, played at Akron, but I saw real talent from this young man. I saw a physical back that can run between the tackles. He's a home run threat at any time. And he never gets tackled by the first man. And I mean never. That may have to do with the competition that he was playing against, but I think that he could do that in the NFL as well. I saw NFL skill set, and I'm really excited to see him play in Washington, especially behind that offensive line. Will he be a Bryce Vitry replacement? Absolutely not. Bryce Vitry is a Hall of Famer, arguably the greatest running back to play in the history of this game. Nah. He's not going to be a Bryce Vitry replacement, but I think he can be a really good player for them, and he'll be a reason for the team to hope that they can still compete for a Super Bowl. Losing a player like Bryce Vitry hurts, but getting Donald Taylor, I can see why a team would be optimistic for the future. The Super Bowl champions, Las Vegas Raiders, what do they really need for their team? They pretty much were stacked across the board in every single position. This is pretty much a luxury pick at this point.
With the 32nd pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Las Vegas Raiders select John Oliver, wide receiver, Virginia Tech. This is the end of the first round.
Wow, the Las Vegas Raiders get another toy on offense. Bryce Vitry gets another speedster for this dynamic Las Vegas Raiders offense. He turned heads at the combine when he ended up running a 4.25 40-yard dash time. Now, I really like John Oliver. He's not the most polished wide receiver in the world, but when you watch him on tape, he makes excellent catches just like this. He's not a great route runner, but he has the speed to burn you at any time. Look at this. Cornerback had 10 yards on him. He still got a little bit of separation, and he made a nice contested catch. The Raiders already have 3 wide receivers that run a 4.2. They just added another one. I think the Raiders did great by picking this young man. You already got 2 dominant wide receivers on the outside. Just get a guy that can run, just like the other ones. The first round of the NFL draft is finally over, and I'm excited for the second and the third round. It steals every single year in these later rounds, and I can't wait to see who's going to go. It's Reezy. I'm here in Hollywood right now. I own the Reason Sports Network, but we're here with ESPN on draft day. Catch me on the next 2 days broadcasting the draft. I'll see y'all soon. The NFL draft is finally over, guys, and I just want to show you guys some of the players that I love to see go off the boards throughout the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th rounds. All of these guys here are subscribers to the channel, so they're playmakers. They make plays, and I think that they could be an impact and a steal for the team that drafted them. 2nd round, 33rd overall pick, Trey Harris from USC goes to the Tennessee Titans to add to their defense. Now with the 35th overall pick, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers drafted Mozzie York, wide receiver out of Texas A&M. Mozzie York is very underrated, and I think he went overlooked throughout this draft process because of his lack of production at Texas A&M. I think he shocked everyone throughout the Senior Bowl when he showed that he can cook top corners. Like here he is going against the number 2 overall pick, Bobby Fitzpatrick, and he cooked him on that play. Marlon Mouse from Colorado, he ended up being the 38th overall pick in the 2nd round. He did a great job on Spencer McGee right here from Charlotte. Throughout the season, he showed his size was a huge attribute as he used it to make big-time contested catches over corners. Right here we got Spencer McGee. Now I love Spencer McGee and his traits. Number 65 overall pick coming out of the 3rd round. He lit up the combine where he ended up running a 4.2 40-yard dash time. And it wasn't just a 4.2, 4.28, 4.29. Nope. He ran a 4.21. That's unreal. At Charlotte, they ran a lot of zone coverage, so we didn't get to see Spencer McGee play a lot of man, which left teams a little bit more hesitant on him. And Charlotte didn't even play that many good wide receivers. They played a lot of trash teams. On top of that, Spencer McGee can't catch at all. His hands are terrible, which is why I think he really fell into the draft. So hopefully he can be nice with the Titans. Prentice Favors went number 76 overall in the 3rd round, got drafted by the Bills. Isaiah King Jr., one of my favorite running backs in this entire draft class. I thought that he would at least go in the 2nd round. He ended up getting drafted in the 4th round, 105th overall to the Denver Broncos. I think he adds a huge element to their offense. He's a great pass catcher out of the backfield. He can run routes. He's physical when he runs between the tackles. And on top of that, he got some speed. A lot of people thought that he would run 4.4 at the combine. Maybe a 4.5. No, sir. He shut all the critics up when he ran a 4.33 at the combine. Isaiah King Jr., big time player, subscriber to the channel. I think he helps out the Broncos offense after they drafted Dedrick Richardson number 2 overall last year. They gave the offense some help. And now we really get to see Richardson and what he's made of, if he can play in the big leagues. Noah Gardner, tight end from Mizzou, 5th round, 129th overall. I thought he would go higher in this draft, but I think he can be a steal for the Titans offense. Jair Messier, TCU quarterback, went 184th overall in the 6th round of the draft. Carl McDonald from Fresno State went 187th overall in the 6th round to the Houston Texans. Gives Trayvon Shady some help. Drayvon Jigglesworth, one of my favorite players in this entire draft class. He's only 5'9", doesn't have a huge arm, but he makes plays. Cowboys, 7th round, 211th overall. Alontae Joseph, another underrated player, 219th overall in the 7th round, goes to the Houston Texans. I think he could be an impact player on their defense. They need help big time. And Mr. Irrelevant, Brian Brown from Texas A&M. He can fly. Another speedster for the Raiders. And that concludes the 30-21 NFL Draft. I'm glad you guys stuck around for it. Thank you to ESPN for giving me this opportunity to broadcast this draft, give you my analysis, and work with the legendary Mason Kiper. He comes from the long lineage of Mel Kiper, so the NFL Draft is really in his lifestyle. But it's Reezy here on the Reason Sports Network, here with ESPN for the 30-21 NFL Draft. Stay tuned for the channel. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. You can be a character in the Reason Sports Network universe. We make content for high school, college, and the pros. You can submit a form. The link will be in the description. However, if you sign up with Patreon, you'll have a lot more customization and control over your character. The link will be in the description. If you want to see the 30-21 NFL Combine, then click this video right here.